Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Steve. Welcome to Steve Builds. Hi, everybody in chat. How's everyone doing today? I saw a question early in chat I want to address early, just because I don't want to let it go. So good morning, or afternoon, or evening, Jordan. He said, is it possible to use 10 by 15 cable chain for a Trident XY? Not without some modification. So the intended design is 10 by 11 or 10 by 10. And that's so that the overall width of the chain is less than a 20/20 extrusion. You don't interfere with things and rub on the panels. Some, I think IGUS 10 by 15s are 10 wide and 15 deep. That would require some modification to make sure you maintain your minimum bend radius. I don't know that it would work, but that would be your best chance. But most generic are 15 wide, which aren't going to work. So with that, hi Stephen and Paul and Printer Prawn. Scroll back down. Derek and Angie and Brant. Jorg. We are going to continue the revision 2 upgrades to my green V2 here. Last week we changed out all the Z drive modules and the front idlers to the offset ones, and that took up quite a bit of time. So, Andres K, you renamed yourself. That's okay, there can be multiple Andres Ks. Hey Nathan, hey John, Gadget Angel, Christian, Heiko and Charlie's being let in. Barticus. What else has been going on? I've kind of decompressed a little bit this week, so I didn't get a whole lot done. Hi Hypermix. But I did start printing some parts for the 3D Sets buggy, and I think they turned out pretty well. Let me bring some out. So these are the rear fenders for the 3D Sets buggy. I got some weird artifacts on the inside, but it doesn't show up to the outside. The outside looks pretty darn good, so I think they're usable. I don't know if that's cooling or something. Robert Vandermillion, hi Steve, did you have to do anything special to align the Prusa bed on the 250? For this, I mean, you can just set it on a 250. I mean, the bed here is a 254 bed. It's 10 inch. I put, let's see if we can get a little better view here. I put some additional holes in the bed and drilled and tapped them for M3 screws so I could use them as the indexing pegs for the back of the Prusa sheet. And I didn't bother putting the magnet all the way back because that's the only sheet I'm going to end up using on here. So that's all custom. Gadget Angel, Charlie is doing well. He is wandering around. I'm sure he'll come visit. Morning, Ray. Remy, which model am I building? I'm building the buggy. So just the regular buggy. I don't know if I'll end up trying for the street version or whatever, but I'm keeping it with the buggy. I've already got most of the parts I need to do that. So, hi Mark. And I have another plate of stuff I haven't even looked at closely. So I'm printing all of these on the Legacy. So let me pull this up. This is my Legacy. So this is, I think this is the front, and then the front side, the inner fenders. I think overall they look pretty good. Ooh. These were really, really small contact to the bed, so I did use a brim. I don't usually print with a brim, but This is Jesse Slime Green or Green Slime. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Green Slime. Green Slime Jesse filament from Printed Solid. And let's see if we can get a view here. Got Charlie on the legacy. So yeah, I'm slowly working my way through this. I decided that it was time to start getting some prints done on this. Hey Rainer. Miko. Dean. Dean, is that US Georgia or EU Georgia? Saw some memes around from, I gotta assume I guess there are people that aren't aware that there are multiple Georges in the world. Let's see. So, yeah, these brims come off pretty easy. Overall, I think it turned out well. I think these are usable parts. Find out once I start assembly. So, move these out of the way and we can get started. Hey, Ari. Let's make a pile over there. I don't know how long. Oh, there's Charlie. I don't remember how long that print was. I think it was about 8 or 10 hours. Everybody say hi, Charlie. Holland. Steven printing RC airplanes out of ABS and flying them. 1.8 meter wingspan. That's pretty big. How is that holding up out of ABS? Hi, Charlie. Remind me, which RC model is this again? Here, let me bring it up. Why is my mouse not working? What is going on? There's my mouse. Oh, okay. Well, this is weird. Close. My browser is locked up. It won't close. Why isn't it closing? That's really weird. Nothing's stopping me from... this is gonna be a problem. Give me a second. Sorry about this. Hey, just while I'm fumbling with this, how's the music? Can you guys hear the music? Trying some volume settings. Why is this not working? Let's end you. There we go. Let's try this again. Charlie, you're in my way. Okay, let's try this again. Sets.com. So the model, the RC model is from a place called 3dsets.com. Learned about this from a Prusa blog post, or maybe it was one of their Prusa lives. But they had this Landy model. They had a simplified version for free on prusaprinters.org. And they do a really neat job. The built-in supports and stuff seem to be really well done. So I am going to build the... what is it? The buggy. The Model 7 buggy. Music sounds good. Awesome. I got music too in my ear. It is really quiet in here when I don't have it, so I'm glad it seems to be okay. If a touch loud. Let's try that. Just a little change. Anyway, this is the model I'm going to build. It is I really like the way they did the transmission on it with belts, and I'm hoping to do a build. If it's not a Sunday stream, maybe I'll do a series of weekday streams building it. We'll see where it falls in the list of things I have to do. But hi, Manfred from Austria. What else do we got here? Fridays. Hi, Mr. Clown. Hi, Mehmet. Torx Fighter, Chris. So you get just files for that $40. So, but there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of thought into it, and it looks like a pretty good assembly manual and build of materials and stuff. So I've mentioned that for many months now, and I figured I'd show some progress in printing. It's one of those things that I'm sitting there thinking of something to print, and I realize, oh, I should print something like that. Hey, Andres. Charlie is doing very well. He appears to be back to normal. He is a little more needy. He's constantly on my lap, or I have a pillow on my desk, so I give him somewhere to be other than my lap. So, but other than that, he seems to be back to normal. And he's even getting some of his orange hair back around his rear here. So, before too long, we won't even see he had a shaved spot. So, okay, Charlie, it's time to go. Time to go. He can go over there, and we can get started on this. We did the Z drive modules last time. Now we're going to work on the gantry. To keep things kind of controlled, one thing I did change out, a minor change on this, is the way the Z chain attaches. So no longer, we got rid of those, the little, where is it? I think I've cleaned it up, but we had a little printed part with some nuts in there, and it was really fiddly getting it in. So I'm hoping this is better. Music is still a touch loud. I don't like super loud music either, so let's bring that down just a little bit more. Yeah, give me an update on that in a few minutes when it buffers through. What do you think about the GE5C mod you have? It works. I couldn't tell you that it is remarkably better than the spec setup. I haven't really compared on the same printer between the things. I'm looking for all the bits and pieces I need to do this. There it goes. So the new setup, and I'll demonstrate with the lower piece. So this piece goes down here. It's a little taller to try to keep the cable chain from falling back, even though you have this stop here as well. And then there is a printed part with a heat set in it that goes here, and this is allowed to move back and forth to accommodate the different size chains. Then you just use one screw and slide that back until it's up against this back gantry. So I haven't replaced the bottom part, but I do have the top part loose here. So I'm going to take a countersunk screw and screwdriver and see if we can get this. Hey, Charlie. See if we can do all this in the middle of Charlie wanting to be involved. Is there a trick to getting non-IGUS cable chains to lay flat? As far as the X and Y, or what's the... Let's see how this is from a... See how much of a pain this is. Let's start with getting the screw started. See if I can do this with a reasonable angle. There we go. And I'm gonna move the wiring out of the way, and sorry about this. So most cable chains have a fixed end, at least the generic ones that you buy, have a fixed end and a floppy end. Sorry, I'm having a hard time here. You want the fixed end at the bridge here and at the tool head, and that'll force it to stay down and not floppy. Having a hard time. The angles here are making it tough. So give me a second. I just need to get it in place, and my finger, there we go. Now get in here. Get this going. Okay, I got it in there now. There. Are the IGUS chains worth the extra cost compared to China chains? I don't think so. I've run both. I have IGUS chains on the orange Trident. It's the only one I have IGUS chains on. The only area I would think the IGUS chains may be better is the IGUS chains, Z chains are 10, the internal is 10 wide by 15 deep. The generic ones end up being really close to the gantry when you're at Y max. Hi, Killer Prince. Hi, BBs. What age is Charlie? He'll be 15 in June. Steve, are those colors KVP? It's KVP graphite. And then the silver is, it's either Paramount silver or Nova make a silver. Either one I got off Amazon. Hey, Sanity. If you bring it up again, because I'm going to have to do some work on the cable chains, we can talk about it in more detail with a better camera angle. So top is fixed. Let's move Charlie over here. Get the bottom one fixed. I have a zip tie here just to kind of control the movement of the wires in there, although the Z chain doesn't move much. Hi, Maker Viking. That. And So I'll show you what this replaced. I don't drop every piece all over the place. So the previous setup, see if I can keep all this together. There we go. So the previous setup used this little thing with a printed piece to hold the nuts in and allowed things to move around in there to accommodate different cable chains. I think just about every cable chain we can get away with just the one screw, and anything I could find we can get away with one screw, so that's what we went with. And this goes here and that over there. So Charlie is definitely adding fiber all over the place. Please tell people they need to use those ends connected to the first link on toolhead. Can you clarify there, Sanity? I'm sure I agree with you. I just want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. Yes. So the fixed end you want to have at the XY bridge and at the tool end. And the floppy end connected to the extrusion, because then it doesn't matter. Same with the Z chain. You want the fixed end at the A stepper mount here, so this doesn't fall over this way. So now we have that, and where my other piece went. Oh, it went on the floor. This little printed piece goes in here. This one's a whole lot easier to get to. Make sure I'm not pinching any wires while I'm doing this. There we go. There. And this is nice and sturdy. Let me grab some cable or zip ties so I don't forget to get all this managed. Robert, Steve, I was looking through the revision and was wondering if there was a technical, mechanical reason not to use heat sets to hold the X carriage together versus M3 nuts. The biggest reason is that for the Hall effect setup, you need the mounting, the way things stack up, you need to be able to put a magnet in front of it. So what is the printed part on the left back side of the bed? So this is the Euclid mag probe dock. So this goes in here, and we'll be reinstalling that in a bit. Wondering why not add holes for zip ties on some of the parts like we had with AB. Yeah, it's just really, there's not a lot of material here and stuff. Let's put this thing back on now. Wire cover. Screws that I use for those. It's these. Can you tell from where did you print the honeycomb screw tray behind the printer? So I found that. I think I found that in Prusa Printers page. And it's just a little screw holder. It's really fragile though, because it's only like 1 perimeter thick for those walls. So I remixed it. That one I printed and found out that it was a little weak. Maybe it's 2 walls. And so I redid it because I was making one for my nephew for his RC cars for a little printed Christmas present. But it works. I think like screw tray or something, if you search for that on Prusa Printers, you'll find it. Christian, you're up in Auburn. That's really close. I have friends up in Auburn. You can print replacement ends. I don't know how good they are compared to some of the... I mean, it's good for in a pinch, but if I had a choice between a printed part or not, I'd probably go with the manufactured part. I lost my stepper connector. There it is. There we go. And then a quick zip tie here to hold this stuff in place. See if I can get it through right here. There we go. Make sure all that is there. That is done. Hey, Juan Carlos. Bill Brothers, you're in Santa Rosa. That's pretty close too. Hey, Andrew. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, so that is done. We haven't tensioned our Z-belt, so we're not ready to do that yet. So R2 parts changed is the way that the Z cable chain mounts, which is the only real change besides the cross bridge holes on these parts, but that's the only real change to the A, and that's the only reason I swapped this. This is still the old one for the B stepper mount. So now let's get into the gantry. Start taking this apart. So let's take this cable chain off. Try to remove as little as possible in this process. Kind of winging it. I'm losing screws on the floor as I go. Where did it go? Oh well. Let's show where zip ties go. So I just, here, I'll show you. At each end, you can see there, I just wrapped a zip tie around the outside and grabbed all the wires to just hold it here. And I did basically the same thing at the top. Just put one right here and just grabbing all the wires, just have some sort of control on them. Now, I know I'm going to open myself up to another request for pieces on my GitHub, but for the, oh, there goes another screw. For the X and Y cable chains, I made this little, just this thing. It just sandwiches here and gives me somewhere to zip tie the wires to. The IGUS chains have a piece that come out the front that serves the same purpose. Is the Wago holder under the bed one of the new parts? Yes. We included a Wago holder as a recommended part. Okay. I am going to try to do this without completely disassembling everything. So I'm using a Hall Effect end stop pod on here. So remove that. Remove the cable chain bridge. And hopefully get this, I put some heat shrink on that wire. So can we get this to pull out of here without destroying all of that? See if I can make sure I got enough room here. So what I'm dealing with, let's see if I can get a angle here. Dealing with is this wire. I put some heat shrink on it, which is making it a really tight fit. Let's see. I'm not going to reuse this, so let's just use this screwdriver to bend this plastic out a bit. There we go. Tore it a little bit, but that's okay. Membership. I mean, I think someone said it last time. I'm definitely in the stage of analysis paralysis on that. I need to finish. I need to figure out the figure out stuff. I'll figure it out. I could still use some suggestions for tier names. Let's just pull this whole thing off now. Move the lower screws. I just missed the 412 holder. I only saw the 414 for the electronics compartment and remixed it for the bed. So the Wago holders that we're using are just a remix from GL something 12. Let me pull this off and then we'll go to the user GitHub and I'll show you where they are. Let me get this here. So the Wago holders I'm using, if I go to Voron users GitHub, now I think these are in the legacy mods. So let's go to the old mods, printer mods, and then GSL 12 Wago mounts. These are a bunch of others that are out there. So these are all 413s, 415s. I don't know what the 412s are. I have some that I've modified. All feel good. VOC plus. Music volume sound good, but it does, however, sound kind of as if I'm listening to it over the phone. That's weird. Okay. Sensorless for the win. I won't ever go back now that it's dialed in. Here's my concern with sensorless. I run sensorless homing on the legacy and I run it on the y-axis for the for the switch wires. The concern I have with a Trident in V2 is if you do get a false trigger, you're not going to hit your end stop pin. Now, I don't know what... I don't think there's any way to account for that. Oh, Scott, yeah, I have some 2-conductor ones that I modified from that page as well. Kind of thinking about quitting your job to become full-time YouTuber. Nope. Nope. This is a hobby. I like my full-time job. I've been there a very long time. That is not in the cards. So. Let's see if we can get this down a little bit, because we're going to be working on the gantry. Echo 2, Papa 2. That's a good idea on the little zip tie cable chain thing. Although I like to have more than one screw. I guess you could still do it with 2 screws. So part of the R2, although I had no problems with running a single MGN9, and if you have no problems running a dual MGN9 setup, I wouldn't I wouldn't change it just for the sake of change, unless you just like to play with the different mods. As part of this, I am swapping out this single MGN9 setup for a Honey Badger. Fabrico sent me this, and it is really tight. But it's a Honey Badger MGN12. So we're going to give that a try. I don't remember what this is from, but I was stupid and picked at it, and it got worse. So I need to leave it alone. So I'm going to grease this by... I don't really like for the MGN12 going through a hole here and having all that excess grease. I'm going to do... I'm going to just push it in the side here. And then force it in with my thumb. I mean, you've seen me take these cartridges off. I'm a little concerned with taking a cartridge off of this high preload rail. Would you recommend a Voron for someone's first printer? Without knowing that person and knowing if they are, I mean, you can be fresh to 3D printing and be mechanically inclined and used to building things like RC cars and all this kind of stuff and be just fine. That's a tough question without knowing the person, if it's a good first printer. Like my neighbor, he built an LDO kit, and it's his first printer, but he's very mechanically inclined, very... He needed very little help from me, and he's printing with it. So each person is different. They have grease ports, but I don't have any. Let's see if I can force some grease in right there. That's a good point, but I don't have any needles. Oh, nope, it's just pushing right. I can't get a good angle on it. So they have grease ports, but I don't have the right thing to get into the grease port. Let me get a paper towel. I'll be right back. And I got to remember, I'm wireless mic now, so probably go to mute when I do stuff like that. So that's a good point, Beartastic. It does have grease ports. I just don't have the right things to be able to inject grease into there. Okay. You can definitely hear it, but it's smooth. It's not gritty. You're just hearing all the bearings in there. I have a couple of MGN7 honey badgers that I'm going to use on my V0 rebuild. Bought those when they were first announced. Fabrico sent me this one. I had bought a bunch of other stuff and then realized I didn't have an MGN12, so I asked him about the honey badgers and he said he'd send me one. So he sent me one of those and then an extra LDO just in case. Charlie is just being a cat right now. He's in the area. He's making sure that I'm aware he's here, but he's ignoring me. Hi, Ken. Hi, Drayton. Delvin. Okay, so we are going to go with that. Grease off my hands. So these can come off here, and I'm just going to leave all the T-nuts in the rail here. Yeah, Hector's a nice guy. I believe he's a previous STI owner as well. Okay, so this rail I'm just going to, do I have any? I have one stop right here. Do I have any more of these? Yep, I have two. Set that out of the way. I'm going to rebuild these. So let's set this aside for a moment. We're going to rebuild the ends. So I have all the pieces. Charlie's kind of sitting on them, but that's okay. Charlie. Oh, where are we at? So I haven't touched these in terms of prep. So I'm going to take my flat file here, and on these parts, you have to be careful. There are some lips, some ridges for the bearings to ride on. You can see one right here. You don't want to grind that down. So I'm actually not going to touch that surface, but I am going to just clean up everything else, including the here. Just a little touch. Look for those. So here is that ridge. Charlie's causing a big uh-oh. Those. In the middle of wiring my 2.4, I regret not buying a pre-made harness, but now you're going to finish it. Yes. I don't mind doing my own harnesses, but the pre-made stuff does make it nice. I used a Linneo harness in the purple Trident here, and that was really nice. I haven't tried any of the other pre-made harnesses. And one more. Bridges. Nope. Yeah, nope. I don't think so. Okay. Started, I've been diffing any files for 20 minutes just to get a sane place. Hector, isn't he the one running Civics with spoon engines? I don't know. I know he's definitely a car guy. Modified car guy, so. One screw rolled under the 2.4. Oh yeah, a couple did. I find them. Let's pull this apart. Where do we got here? Let's get pieces together so I can be somewhat organized. So that's that piece. So that goes there, and this one goes here. So let's start with this one. This cat is 15 years in the making. Almost 15 years in the making. I don't think you could actually, someone's asking to hold up the old part to compare. Pull some of these. I don't think you can actually tell the difference. It's pretty subtle. Let me put this bolt in to help align them. So if you look at the end here, you'll see on this piece is the cutouts for the dual MGN9s, whereas this one has the cutout just for the MGN12 here. And it's a little larger. It just covers this whole face instead of stopping like on that one. Now, there are very slight differences in where the bearings are, but we couldn't really tell looking at it here. Hi, cat. If I fits, I sits. That is absolutely true. Okay, so I have my bearings. Yes. Uh-oh. The next part is I'm not paying attention to him. So he's going to get up on my shoulders. Yep. Okay, whatever. This is the new piece. Yes. So that's gonna go there. That doesn't really need to go there. Let's pull this. Uh-oh. Now he's discovered the screws. He starts knocking them off the bench, then it's time for him to go. I'm gonna shift you a little bit. I gotta see the parts. Got more than 1,000 hours on the V2. I just decided to do deep tuning before upgrading R2, so I have a good basis for comparison. That's a good idea. Charlie, where's my other stuff? They're in there. Ooh, that was probably loud. Sorry. Uh-oh. We got spam. Ah, Charlie's in the way of me using the mouse. Port. Port. You're gone. There we go. Oh, Are the front idlers fixed in Rev 2? I heard the bearings had a lot of play in them. I don't know about bearings and play in the front idlers. We did change them so that the screw is in line with the belt now, the tensioning screw. One more. And I'm not tightening these down all the way yet. Do we have another bot, or did I catch that one? Cat in the way of using a mouse. I didn't think about that when I said it. Okay, so one side, just swapping parts over. I'm going to loosen this a little bit so that moves freely. Let's do this. I need a washer. So one little change is this M3 by 30 on the bottom. There is exactly 30 millimeters of space from the bottom of the extrusion slot to this surface. So the recommendation is just use a washer there. Let me grab a washer. The reason I didn't just make this part larger is because the stack up of parts here for going into the MGN9 carriage, just making this part thicker would reduce the number of threads into the carriage. Hi, Tinkernux. Just got a couple of, oops, that was a black one. Black one. Just a couple of stainless washers, since the rest of the hardware on this one's stainless. Okay, so that's one. Let's get the other one apart and built. I appreciate, I'm going to go back through. Anybody who's making suggestions on tier names and stuff, I go back through and read chat, so keep them coming, even if I miss suggesting it or acknowledging your suggestion. Never had a problem with my front tensioners, still might make the switch at some point. Correct. I haven't had a problem on several of my ones, but I did have problems on this one. If you go back to the beginning of last week's stream, you'll see me show the belt wear that I was having. Getting the nuts out of here. This goes away. Yep, that just goes there, which means if this goes like that, this just goes right there. Goes all the way through. This one goes all the way through. This one captures that idler. Butterfingers. First real DIY build. Voron 0.1 or Switchwire. Switchwire is definitely an easy build. I think in the ranks of ease of assembly, Switchwire is probably first. Trident is second, Voron 0 is third, and the 2.4, I think. Stream isn't always about 3D printing. May take tier name into account for that if encompasses programming, CNC, or RC cars or sometimes. Yeah. I was thinking there was a suggestion for just like craftsman levels, apprentice, journeyman, master, that kind of thing. It feels a little cliche though. Everything is going to be cliche, isn't it? Okay, everything's moving, not super tight. Legacy. Legacy. Where would I put Legacy in the build tier or difficulty rank? I think Legacy is right there. Maybe next Switchwire is probably a little easier. John, I'm not really, I don't know. I started with 2 because it's not, I mean, obviously it's not super, I don't want to say it's not important to me, but it's not something I'm super concerned about. I started with 2. I wouldn't be opposed to setting up 3. Okay. I'm going to see how many, I'm going to go there, 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 going every other one starting from the ends. I don't know if I want to go both in the center. I'll just reuse every one I have. Maybe I'll get rid of those 2 center ones. So let's get rid of the center ones. Yeah, I guess that factors in. Legacy doesn't have a manual, so it by default is a more difficult build. I'm just putting in a T-nut for every other screw hole starting from the ends here. Now I will position them. There we go. So I guess that puts, like I said, it puts Legacy a little more difficult. It's still not a tough build. Maybe it's more difficult for a first build, but changes the rank if it's done by a more experienced builder. I have a 350 2.4 and want a backup Voron. What do you recommend? A V0. A V0 is an awesome printer for quick, small, quick prints. Yeah, like Speedy said. Okay. Let's see where we are at. Let's put this and this and a washer. No manual, it's part of the retro experience. That is really at least the excuse. It's part of the retro experience, exactly. Okay, so that's on there. I need to bolt down the rail. Get my spacers. My alignment guides, I mean. Where are those? These? And we start from the center. I'm going to make sure these are kind of centered on the rail. Start from the center, work out. Snug, and then tight. Okay. Shouldn't it just be STLs and a video of the printer then? There is CAD, so yeah, you get something extra there. What do I use for rail lubrication? So this is Mobilux EP2. EP1, EP2, either one will work in our application. Super Lube, I think, although it has Teflon, I don't know if that's the greatest idea. Would you recommend building a V0 with a larger bed, 150 or 180? I might look into one of the solid fork or micron if I was looking at that kind of size. Just because the cantilever bed and the way it's designed on the V0, I don't know if I'd want to go to especially a 180 build. Patrick, $5, thank you. With a little Charlie looking icon. I wanted to build a legacy because I had most of the parts I would need and didn't have the cash for linear rails. So that's where my legacy came from, is old Prusa and Hypercube Evolution parts. The question on the micro step differences, I'm not super familiar with what the pros and cons and effects are between those. That's kind of a little gap in my knowledge. Oh, good, Ling. The cable chain fixed end, paying attention to those. Okay, let's put this on the printer. Hi, Charlie. So we're gonna just use a couple of screws here, have them ready. I hold this here. There you go. Everything's still loose. That's on. That's on. Everything nice and loose. Let's make sure this is somewhat even. Dang, we are spoiled? Is that what you're saying? 3D printers for ants? Yeah, so many options out there. So many options. Currently 100. Oh. Yeah, we're doing okay. You want to go even more retro with a new legacy? I'm using ramps. Yeah, that would be the way to do it. I'm running a SKR E3 Mini Turbo on mine because I wanted the 5 drivers. You think of carbon fiber nylon? I just bought one spool of eSun. I've printed some carbon fiber nylon. I have a couple of rolls. I haven't done much with it though. Hold on, I gotta let Charlie out. And he'll be back in just a moment, I'm sure. Put all these on. Rule of thumb on microsteps. More microsteps, less torque, but more theoretical precision. Okay. I'm not tightening any of these. I'm just touching off. On this side, just the two front ones are the short. Oops, that one's too long. Where did it go? Is it one of them that's under here? Nope. Where did it go? Let's grab one of these. People aren't logged into YouTube. Can they see live chat? I think so. Andrew, dumb question. I could probably Google, where's your GitHub? So I just have a page on the Voron user mods. So it's under STVPTRSN. Hi, Knights. Jesper, screen size on the V2. This is a 4.3 inch wave share. And if you search for wave share 4.3 on the Voron user mods GitHub, you'll find the mod I use to mount it. Putting the Hall Effect end stop on. Yeah, what Chris said, the wave share 4.3. Okay, all of that. I may have to pull the end stop off to get to that 30mm bolt there. Let's pull all this in. Sorry, let me get this up a bit. Weird hearing an echo. I don't know. Nothing tight here. I'm just getting things assembled. A little odd with all the pieces still kind of semi together. It's possible to use clicky code on the Euclid probe and just change a few things. I think the movements are a little different. I looked at that, but I got lost in the clicky code. It's a little complex. Probably play a bit, but likely the default and Trident of 32 is good. Yeah. Do you think 250 bed could be used on Legacy? You could change the frame size and go to 250, or you could put a 250 on there and just not be able to hit the edges of the bed. But the design is for a 230 build, and I use an Ender 3 plate, which I think is 235 by 235. So the flex sheet that I used is for an Ender 3 as well. Okay. Let's see if we can get any kind of this out of the way. Wiring is annoying. And then see if we can get this back in here. This is the wires for the end stop. It's a little tore up from pulling it out. And it's pushing instead of. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna switch glasses and I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna cut this heat shrink off because it's just more in the way than it's helping. I did that trying to be fancy when I put it together, and it's not helping, and it's not really useful. I remember it was a pain to get in there in the first place, so. There we go. There's no reason to have that heat shrink there. What brand of build flex sheet do you run or recommend? On my 250 builds, I use all the Prusa stuff. As far as anything else, there's lots of things out there. The energetic styles really vary depending on where you're getting them and when they were made. Hey, 3D printing freak, Martin. Okay, that is there. This is here. I'm actually going to pull this off enough and just let it hang by the connector so I can get to this bolt here. And then I'll put it on. So this screw here, I need to be able to get to. I'm gonna start at the front and just lightly snug everything down. Throw my wrench across the floor. Oh, go here. I missed one of those too. I missed Ari, €2 for its monthly payment. I apologize for missing that. I saw it and then I got distracted. So thank you. Appreciate that. And now Tin Knox. Charlie in the back supervising. Yes. He's right here. Thank you. $10. Okay, this is moving really smooth. So I'm just going to keep this up here and just tighten all these down. And these. Have I tried? Oh, you're replying to someone else. Okay. Super smooth. No problems. Cool. We are almost at the point where we can put the belts on. So in addition to, so I showed you this little piece that I had printed for grabbing the wires. On the other end, on the frame side, I just printed this. Now, someone else in user mods has a neater version of this, but this is just what I use. So this goes here. Let's get this thing to stop moving around so much. There we go. If you remember, one of the big reasons that I'm doing this is tore up belt. I cut a couple of new belts. So let's get this thing belted up. These are cut to the same length. Let me make sure. I'm off by 1 tooth. There we go. Hey, DJ Natty. You missed Charlie crawling up on my shoulders. It's probably worth going back and checking because it's kind of funny. I have no idea what the timestamp was. Let's grab GN12 carriage and clean it up. I already put the required heat sets in. Okay. This one goes here. So let's see. I always have to figure out which way is the easiest, what is the easiest starting point. So I might fumble here a little bit, but with the offset tensioning screws, they do, since they're in line with the belt, they do get in the way. So you need to remove those for this step. Because you need to be able to get through here. So this is going to go around the bottom here. I think I can go here and pull this through here, and then just push it back, right? Or was it the other way that's easier? Or was it easier to go here? Push it this way. Trying to remember what the that here, and then push it through this way. I think it was the other way. Okay. Derek, monthly subscription, $10. Thank you. I had not planned on having a tier that high, but we'll see. We shall see. I'm gonna go this way. This goes. I'm gonna bring up the manual because I always get confused on which side of the Z belt this goes. So let's bring up the V2.4 manual. See if I already have it downloaded. I don't think so. So let's go back to Voron Design, Voron 2, Manual, and the assembly manual. Let's download it. Super Goober, would I need to run 3 more wires with the harness for the Stealth Burner LEDs? Yes. I'm not doing that today because I plan on doing a stream dedicated to installing Stealth Burner once it's released. So we have the V2, the new assembly manual. I'm gonna scroll quickly through here and find the belt path. So if you haven't had a chance to look through here, Dunnar and everyone reviewing it did a great job with this updated manual. Okay, we're on the Z assembly. Go down, build plate. gantry. There is a belt path diagram. There's the gantry. Charlie's sitting there on the floor now, ignoring me. He's purposefully facing away from me, and he does that. It's very funny. Gantry, where's the belt? Get in there. Z-belt. Z-belt. When is the stealth burner released? We don't know yet. When it's done. When it is finished. AB belts. Here we are. Soon with a double trademark. So the question is, do they show, is it clear, do those go in front of or behind the okay, it goes in front of, to this side of it. So let's see. We are going to press this way. I'm gonna push this. And where's my little screwdriver? There it is. There we go. Pull that through there. And now I'm gonna kind of massage the end of the belt. Hold this here. And then I think push this through here. And once I'm here, where are we at? Just pushing a screwdriver in the end. I gotta be able to see. Kind of little pick, a pick or a small screwdriver can be used to pull this. There. Now we're good. We can work our way the rest of the way around the printer. So now this goes through the bottom here. Through the bottom, not the top. Through the back. Now on the back, the most common, so this is an old, so I elected not to change the B stepper drive, but there was a change after I printed this that added some plastic here to help prevent people from going around this little plastic pillar. You don't want to run the belt on this side of the plastic pillar. You want to run it in through that little opening there. Now this is an older piece, but that's not a problem here. So this goes in that gap and then around the pulley. And little screwdriver in here or pick can help push this in the right spot and then through here. So now that goes through and then this way. What do we got? Besides the new feet, are there any parts which one should upgrade from 2.4 R1? The idlers are the big one. The new feet are just kind of a, it's not a print functional change. So, okay, pull all that through. We're good. Yeah, I posted a Google sheet that showed at a very basic level what the changes are. Okay, this comes through here. There we go. I'm going to take a small screw here and just lock that belt in, just to keep things from pulling there. Oh, I'm falling behind on chat. If I didn't answer your question, feel free to answer it again. I got lost in that belt routing. NYX code. It sounds like you have a... Besides the new feet, are there any parts one should upgrade from 2.4 R1? The only functional changes are the front idlers and the MGN12 X-axis setup. Everything else is just quality of life, printability, that kind of thing. So at the very basic of your answer, front idlers, MGN12X. If all of this is working fine on your printer, I wouldn't upgrade. Next belt, where is it? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to push that Z belt out of the way, make sure we come at the front. Pull this through here. Charlie's about to come visit again. What are the Z blocks holding the gantry? They're not the stock ones. So those are the GE5C, the spherical bearing setup. Okay, I'm going to push this. There we go. That one was easier. Top side. Top side to the back. Into this little gap, not across, not around the pillar. Use a screwdriver to help get this around here, straight across through here. Hey, Charlie. And through here. Where are we at? Lower the Z blocks, not the same one on the switch wire. And then through here. Okay. Belts are basically ran now. So I start with this side of the X carriage. Start with it split. This is how the manual goes as well. You start with it split. And I need 2 3x8s. And then these two, I bolt them down with barely any belt sticking out on this side because you don't need it. So this can all be done after it's somewhat on the bolted down. So let's go there and there. Now let's make sure that these are see. There. So I'm going to make sure that these are sticking out the same amount on both. Right there. See that? And then I'm just going to snug these down so they can't move. Now everything else here can get pulled. Everything along the way. So as you're pulling on these, and I'm going to move you around here. As you're pulling on these, you see like this belt isn't on the bearing stack. So going around and making sure everything is seated in its spot with some tension here. I can kind of feel that. So that just knocked into place. Yeah, those just dropped into place. And then these should be the same length. So now we can take the other half of the carriage, just kind of hold that in place. And bolt it, very loosely bolt it in. One thing I did forget to do is put the hex nuts in that side of the carriage. Let's see if we can get a view here. So a hex nut goes up here and a hex nut down here. I can do that after the fact. So that goes there, and that one will be fine. And one more around here somewhere. Charlie, you are so in the way. I'm going to take for this bottom one, I'm going to take a 40mm screw. Just take one of these. One of these front idler ones and just kind of thread that in to pull it into place. That's going to pull although we don't use a 40mm screw on the bottom, I'm just using it to pull the hex nut into place. And now I can pull it, remove that, and it's sitting there. So, oh, it didn't pull all the way. Let's try that again. Now, loosen this. Oh, I'm just going to keep pulling that right on out. So we'll go a different method here. The print isn't holding the nut, so that's okay. Let's go from this direction and just push it into place. That's an M3 by 30. So now let's there we go. 25 by 40. Bolt across the top. Oops, sorry about that. I'd like to make sure all the plastic is aligned. Try to kind of loosen these a little bit. Everything's lined up, and then tighten the sides. And then tighten the fronts. There we go. These are a little long. I cut them long on purpose. I'll trim them down. I let it get a little warm in here. A little warm. Let's put these back in. Front idler screws. We're not too far from mechanically finished with this. Before I cut these, I want to do kind of a test tension. And that's to see where the belts feel about right to me in the travel on these front idlers, the front tensioners. And I'm fine where it is right now. It's already feeling a little pretty good spot, somewhere a little under halfway through the travel of the front idlers. So I think we're good. This is moving smooth. Okay, let's put I'm gonna leave it right there. We're gonna de-rack the whole thing and line everything up here in a second. Oh boy, I was scrolled up on chat. It wasn't auto-scrolling anymore. What am I missing? Steve, are the kinematic bed mounts for the Voron worth the money? I want to answer that. I think technically it's correct. I want to answer that this way though. I think I've brought this up before. How do I get there? Let's try GitHub Whopping. Whopping Puckard has a great where is it? Here. If we go to the kinematic bed and scroll down, there's a lot of text here. But what really stood out to me is going into like why, theory, stuff like that. But if you keep going down, there is a piece here. It's very specifically, do I need them? So let me just paste that. I'll just leave it there because I think the whole idea is technically it's correct. You may see something, but it's not a huge thing. So, okay, let's get the Y. Disturbing Charlie's sitting spot. Let's get this here. Where are my... Am I losing anything? Oh. Where did that go? Technically correct is the best kind of correct. You're right. I'm not hitting that. There we go. For the flatheads. And one more. Where are they, Charlie? What'd you do with them? I think I've dropped a couple on the floor, so I'm just going to grab new. So that is good. Now I've got that. I need a zip tie. So that little piece that I put in there, I'm gonna, what is this? There we go. That just kind of holds those. So I'm gonna throw a zip tie through here around that tab. If we had aluminum nitride beds, we wouldn't need a kinematic belt. What is that? CTE stands for, I'm drawing a blank. Coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay, why cable chain is in place and correct. Hi, Charlie. You know what? I kind of forgot. Where is the... Ah, there it is. I haven't really had too much where this would be useful today. I'll keep it here to remind me to use it, though. Why cable chain? I guess we can put the tool head back together. Need a couple of M3 by 12s for the index, the tool head indexing screws here. Hi, Charlie. And then I'm going to cut these to an amount that I can wrap around. I'm gonna go, let's try here. Let's try that. And let's get the Euclid probe up in here. What size screws did I use for that? Got this. And let's see if 12s will work. No. Probably whatever this is. Oh, that might be a little long. Let's go for some. I don't remember which one. That'll work, whatever that was. I think these are 16s. Andrew, this may be a case of just out of square, but the back part of my Y extrusions keep popping up by 0.5 millimeter on the left and down about the same amount on the right. On what printer? But the back part of my Y extrusions keep popping up. Where are we at here? Why are we not? There we go. I think Charlie would like it if you made some form of chest back brace he could use to climb on you more than he already does. Yeah, we don't need that. He climbs on me way too much. There we go. Okay, so all of this now needs to get pressed to the top and then tightened down. And then around the back of the belts and over that way. And the belts get folded back in on themselves like that. Good evening, Johan. Got pieces, more pieces. Back on here. And the tool head. So the tool head now goes here. And now I'm going to tighten these to where they touch and then back off. Half a turn. That way it can still go on just like that. Why are you messing with the printer and not petting me? I know. Hey, Dark Neutrino. So on Trident, so let me get back to your question there, Andrew. The Y extrusions keep popping up. So the Y extrusions on a Trident are fixed and they keep popping up. They shouldn't be able to if you have the bolts tightened. Am I missing something? Jesus, what are the plastic pieces in the channels of your extrusions? Thanks for everything. Might as well. I am taking a break and petting Charlie, yes. What are the plastic pieces in the channels of your extrusions? So these are open builds. It's just slot covers, but open builds make some really nice ones that work well. They're designed for their V-slot stuff, but they fit perfect in the Misumi and the LDO extrusions. I just cut them down and then it just helps keep things a little cleaner. I can just wipe stuff out of here without it getting caught in the channels. Dark Neutrino, this printer will get a stealth burner with Clockwork 2 once it's released. I need something to do on a stream for the final build once it's released. So okay, all of this now gets out of the way. Let's put no, you don't need that zip tie that he wants to chew on. Oh, I made a mistake. Okay. An earlier change. So this is, I'm building working on a printer here that's been around for over a year. So I haven't done some of the updates to it, and I'm realizing this. Let me try to explain this in some coherent fashion. The user mod for the MGN12 setup that we took, one of the things is the M3x8 bolts here at the top interfere with this indexing feature on the afterburner. So their solution was use button heads here, and then it doesn't get in the way. For release in Trident, I did a modification to Afterburner that cut a little bit of material out here so there's clearance. This printer predates that. So instead of reprinting this and cutting this, I'm just going to swap those out for button head screws so we don't have to worry about that in this particular build. So let me just swap these out real quick for some button heads and we'll be fine. I'm not quite sure, Andrew. It might be something worth opening a help ticket on that Y extrusion thing. If you ping me with that help ticket, I can dedicate some time to it. So this is getting a final release stealth burner. I have no idea when that is. Fortunately, I have all the hardware I could possibly need here. So even though M3x8 button head is not in our bomb, I have some. Davey, $5, thank you. Charlie is just sweet and cute. Everyone should have a Charlie in their life. I agree. Everybody should have a Charlie in their life. Okay, so button head fixes that little quick problem. So now I can put this back on. And now this will go into place. Just like that. Now I need I think it's a 30 for this side. This is one of the best changes for Clockwork 2 and Stealth Burner, is getting rid of these rear mounted screws. There's one, and then I think what is it, a 20 for the other side? Does M3x10 button head work? No, M3x10 would, sorry about that. M3x10 would bottom out in the MGN12 carriage. So now that is in place, I can take my other little piece for the cable chain and start putting this all together. Dark Neutrino, should X carriage move harder compared to Y? I can move Y easily, but X is like a bit harder to move. Is that normal? I don't know. You mean moving this side to side versus forward and back? You're engaging more things side to side, and I would say that that's slightly more difficult to move the X carriage than the Y. You're engaging more points. We need Charlie coffee mugs. How is CW2 beta doing? It's going well. We have a lot of people participating and quite a few people that are giving good feedback. I mean, anytime you open something up to the public, you get a huge population who just wants to build it and don't necessarily understand what its status is. Because, I mean, honestly, people don't pay attention. They see something new and might not even realize that it's a beta, even though it says beta everywhere. So, some frustration dealing with that, but there are a lot of really, really helpful people in there. So, A Lazy Susan would actually be a great idea for me right here. Okay, getting some of this all back together. So Z end stop, tool head, and stepper. Now we need some zip ties that Charlie hasn't knocked off the table. Let's see if I can get to here. There we go. I modded an LGX light mount so I could use it on Clockwork 2 X carriage mount. Really not needing the wrist screws. Yeah. That is a very welcome change on those. Okay, so that is there. That's there. I just have the fans. I need one more zip tie. Do you have it, Charlie? No. Oh, it was on the build plate. Oh well. Right there. And what else am I missing? Wire cover. In a second, after this guy. Oh no, this is in 3x40s. I'm used to putting together a stealth burner with the 50s, but this gets 2 of these. One more. Where did that one go? Let's find one. Uh-oh. Need the other M3x40 that goes here. Any plans on doing a Nevermore filter? We did the Nevermore on the LDO kit. We installed the Nevermore filter on the LDO 2.4 build. Where would I have used that extra 40mm screw? I don't see it anywhere. I guess I'll just grab a regular one for now. I'll find it somewhere, but I'll just use a black screw here. You can't see it. Just to keep things moving. This guy, it could be under the bed. I don't see it though. I've let my screw situation get a little out of control here. So but we're close. I looked, I think I would be able to see a M3x40 on the floor, but I don't see one. We're getting awfully close on this printer though. Oh, I forgot the Hall effect sensor. Get that. Is that this? Yep. And one more. I don't see a 40 anywhere. Let me put some of this stuff away and see. Nope. That's okay. We didn't de-rack. So let's de-rack the gantry right after I put this wire cover on. Let's see, right there, right there. There we go. I cheated a little bit by having the stepper connector out the back. Just sits, hangs out right there. So I always de-rack this by checking. Let's see if we can get a better angle here. So running the print, the gantry through the full range of motion slowly. Now when it gets to the front, if you notice this side touched first, this side has some play. So we tighten the side that has some play. And it's quite different. Let's go through the range of motion. This side needs more. Range of motion. That's right there, maybe just a tad more. There we go. Now they both touch at the same time. Yep. Everything feels good. Everything, made sure all the belts were riding in the right spots. How much overhead should our thermal fuses be on our bed? If I run 110, is 125 C too small? 125, I think, is the recommended. Especially if you're mounting it to the aluminum build surface itself. If you should still be okay if you silicone it to the heater as well. Okay, so the gantry is de-racked, and then I'm going to go through and tighten all the belts for the Z. And I'm just tightening these until they feel tensioned and they feel the same. I know that's not very descriptive. I think the most important thing is for them to be the same tension. So I think the bomb has 125. It's changed over the course of time though, so I'm not surprised if there's some inconsistency in what document you're looking at. That should be good. So most things should be done. Let's work on putting the skirts back together. That was a flathead screw. So one of the changes is in the power inlet side. Let's see, where can I? There, let's try that. I guess I just get a visitor the whole build this week. So the new setup puts the power inlet on the side. So we're going to pull this, which requires me disconnecting all the things. And they are really tight. So let me see if I can gently. There we go. Gently prying these off the connectors. I'm going to try to keep everything in the same order. Keep all this stuff here. Like using a marker. I'm just going to mark which ones were on the top here. Just to keep it. You use bed mesh with your probe. I have a bed mesh set up on all the V2s. Those are really tight. There we go. That's off. I have a bed mesh set up on all the V2s. I have not set up bed meshes on the Tridents. I haven't needed to. I want all of these to not be lost. Ah, that's why. Okay. That is off. And then here is why I have the longer handle ball end driver, because the body of the handle of the screwdriver hits here and increases the angle of attack on that screw. So that's why I use this guy. There we go. So let's take this off. And on this version, it's just threaded into plastic. But on the new one, we have heat sets. So this is the filtered main inlet setup. Let's just have little spring clips to undo, work its way out. Filtered inlet with a separate power switch. This is the safe recommended way to go. The quality on the other single piece inlets varies quite a bit. Okay, so now this So I want on to be up. So I'm just going to put that in there. That. And then that in there like that. And I'm going to switch to flathead screw to hold these in. Everything's so neat and tidy on this build. I like it to be neat and tidy. So now I'm going to follow up what I did for the other. So that is ground. Neutral. Crap. I think this. There. And then they're opposite spots. So we're going to go here, I think. And bring this down to here. And here. And bring this down. Oh, crap. Oops. I think I can go there. Let me see. These are so tight once they're on there. There we go. What about the LDO inlet? The assumption is that they are picking a quality manufacturer for that. I got those backwards. Okay, that is back together. So, and then this is going to go in here with these. Charlie wants out, but he can wait a minute. Okay. Let me get caught up. Dry heat soak, check out Oli Sieb. What's that? Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry, Oli. I have no idea who you are, but I consider that spam. I have no idea who you are. I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. You don't need to be coming into my stream advertising your channel, even if you are legit. Tygo, will I need to buy something to update from Clockwork 1 to Clockwork 2 on Stealth Burner? Clockwork 2 uses a different stepper motor. So Clockwork 2 uses the the little round NEMA 14 stepper. Hey, Rock is life. Okay, let's put this guy on. Is that the one? Nope. That's the one. Let's loosen these so I can shift this around. Let's use the ES15. Now we can put that on. And the Keystone Jack one is going to go up here. So let's shift our... There we go. Where are we at? Should definitely print a little parts tray for my new... Yeah, that's handy. I should use it more. I mean, as you can see, I've got everything spilling over everywhere but using that right now. But... I should use it more. I don't actually have the... I realize I don't have the blanks for here. So those are just going to be holes in the back for now. Where is that? There we are. Oh, it's too high. That's why. Saw in a Galileo Clockwork kit that it's the same stepper as used in the Galileo Clockwork kit. Now there are different ones, the 17mm length body and the 20mm length, both work. The recommended one is the 20mm though. Most of mine I have running are using the 17 though. Now the new, so for the 2.4 R2, the side pieces are the same no matter what size build. The centerpiece gets bigger on the bigger builds. And of course, I forgot a couple of heat sets. So make sure this is centered. There we go. Just be aware of the 17, yeah. 17 versus the 20mm. You'll have better luck with the 20mm. Cameron, this is a ES15. This is only the second build stream I've used it on, so I don't have a... It seems cool, it works. And I haven't used any of the other versions of this, the 126 or the 121. This is relatively recent to come out though. I want to double check my wiring here because I unplugged everything and I plugged it back in. So I'm gonna go switch over to the assembly manual and go down to the electronics section and make sure that I have this plugged in okay. Did I say ES15 or did I say something else? Let's go to the assembly manual and scroll down to the electronics portion because I want to double check I didn't flip something around. I don't know how far we have to scroll, but we'll scroll for a little bit. I am curious if this will print ABS of full bed size and more than 10mm height without warping. There are a lot of factors there, but assuming everything is correct, then yes, no problem. You got one piece that's the full size of the bed. That's a lot of stress on it, though. So let's get down here to the electronics section. We're at almost 2.5 hours. We're doing good. All these bits and pieces. I don't know. I don't think I'm using all this stuff. Chris, that DeWalt gyroscopic screwdriver, I have the same one. It's at work. It's a little big for this stuff. Getting to places. I like how compact this is. But that has a whole lot more torque. Is it the one that twists into a pistol or inline? That's the one I have. Yeah. Looking at it, Joseph, I agree. That's why I wanted to double check. And even without looking at the wiring diagram, I'm pretty sure I have it. I mixed it up. So the wiring on just the lesson here, double check your mains wiring. Double check. Don't assume it's correct. If you're not comfortable with it, get a second opinion. Sorry for all the scrolling here. I have no idea where this is in the manual. Yeah, show my time. A single print that's full bed surface and tall, that's a lot of stresses in the print. I wouldn't be surprised if you get some lifting on the corners. Okay. So this is the diagram I'm going off of, and I know that I have the switch wrong because I'm looking at it and I got myself twisted. Let's see if we can show where I made a mistake. So the switch is going this way. So I've put the white wires here on the wrong side. This should be this wire and this one should swap. So I'm gonna pull all that apart and pull all this apart and redo it. Hey, the weekend warrior. These are so tight on here. Let me see if I can get a. See if I can just very gently. There we go. That's better. Okay. So I'm going to go here. Where are we at? Here to the bottom one. So this one to the top one. All right, like that. And then here, so this one, the top one, right there. I think that's correct. Let's see if we get, I'll give it a second to have folks look at this. What do you think? So I'm gonna double check. Going off that way, we're coming in. Yeah, I think we're good. Ground. Remember making a dust fan at work and goofing the mains input on the switch. Found out the breaker for my bench was labeled wrong and part of another circuit. So got that fixed too. Everything's tight. Everything's in. All my Wago connectors here are all still connected and tight. Yeah. I had it rotated basically 90 degrees. I had the 4 connections on the switch rotated 90 degrees because I got mixed up when I was moving things around. So rear skirts on. Let's put the side skirts on. These are all, oh, that's an old one. It's the new ones. That's an old one. So the difference between the old ones and the new one is you see this is stubbier because the foot got wider here. Goes there. Goes there. That goes there. And let's hang this one off the end. Goes there, and one more. Wago connectors and lever wire connectors are different in size. Okay. Now, I had missed a couple of heat sets, so let's put those in. Your LEDs at the top of the printer are falling off. Oh yeah, they are. I think they just snap into the... They just snap into the extrusions. That's fine. One heat set. Two heat sets. Ha ha ha. Going at the side, so I'm just gonna put that on there. That. Because it wouldn't be a complete build without installing the bottom panel. Kia has that inductive powered idea too. Did a paper on that in college. I was thinking, what inductive powered? Oh, I saw inductively powered kitchen appliances. Yeah. We are doing well. While it's on its side here, I want to, so with the change to the guitar amplifier feet, let me let Charlie out, hold on. With the change to the guitar amplifier feet is a change in the shape of the bottom panel. So this won't, yeah, this goes this way. This won't bolt in place now. So this profile here changed. So there is a, Andrew, I do that all the time. There is a printed jig. So this is just a little simple piece I printed. It's got an F for front. The idea here, and let me bring up the diagram. We go to, I think we were, at the Voron 2 page. We go to drawings and DXFs, panels. Is that where I put it? No, it's under tools. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. It's in the STLs under tools. There's this bottom panel modification, bottom panel template. Well, this image here shows how to use it. So the front of the printer is this cutout. And you use this jig always with the F facing the front to mark what to cut out, and then you remove that little bit. So, my gosh, wasting my time. Nobody puts on the bottom panel except for me. So with this, with the F pointed that way, I'm gonna take a Sharpie and just mark the piece that needs to come out. And there's just a little tiny trim on that side. So I just mark that. That's what needs to be cut. Same thing. I'm going to set this right there. Mark what needs to cut. My Sharpie is a little old, it looks like. Let me see if I can find another one. Although you can see it. Same thing on the bottom. The F always points to the front. So let me see if I can find a better Sharpie, because it is done. F is not for fail on this part. F is for front. Hey, I've got another silver Sharpie. Let's see if this one's nice. There we go. Nice and bold. I wanted to make this as easy, as self-explanatory as possible, so that's why it's not one piece and then you figure out where else to line it up. But now my thought here is probably a Dremel. On camera, what's the best way for me to do this? I think I'm going to take my cutters and get it close, so I'm minimizing the amount of time that I have to deal with loud and put you guys on mute while I cut this thing. So I'm gonna cut the bulk of the material away with my side cutters here, with my flush cutters, and then I'm gonna clean it up with the Dremel. The bottom panel, I am assuming, is going to, I'm just going to somewhat make this up, but I think there's some validity. Helps direct the air from your fans instead of helps route it through your electronics, right? Okay. Let me move the printer so I can use the Dremel up here without getting stuff at least all over the printer. Dremel with sanding bit. power. And I think this is going to be a little loud, so I'm going to put on mute while I do this real quick. Oh, do I have them? Where did I put those? I have something. Aha. I was watching Clow42, another channel that does machine work, mostly hobby, small shop machine work, and he recommended these bifocal safety glasses. There are 3 times lens there, but we're gonna actually go with some actual safety goggles here while I work on this. So let's put this on mute real quick. Give me a okay. Oh, don't tell me I wasn't muted. All right. Was I not muted? I hit the mute button and it said it was muted. Okay. Oh, Charlie wants back in. So I think that turned out pretty well and didn't take very long at all. Let's see if it fits after I clean up my mess. And of course let Master Charlie in. Apparently I waited too long. I got told off. Let's get, I made a big mess. I'll have to clean this up more thoroughly later. Too bad. Hi, Charlie. Okay. If we don't upgrade to the new guitar feet, do we need to have to do that cutting Dremel? No, you do not. Also, there are, I'm sure, and I know at least Printed Solid is going to be doing it, but I'm sure other vendors are going to start selling just the bottom panel for folks. Okay, Charlie. So now this should slip into there. So let's get these screws here and use our oh, we didn't put all the front panels, all the front skirts on. So let's open this up. Grab what I think is the front skirt. Yep. Where'd the long screwdriver go? Charlie. You. Oh, there it is. So let's put this guy. Back on the front. Cat. There we go. A router. I just think a router is probably a little overkill for this. It didn't take much at all to do that with the Dremel. Or, I mean, just attacking it with the flush cutters with a little bit of care would probably be acceptable. There we go. Last one. Yeah, Cloud42, I just discovered his channel. I saw that recommendation on those safety glasses, and I liked them because I like my magnification. Charlie, got a rubber band. He loves rubber bands. Okay. Okay. That worked out really well. What we are going to do next is put this back on its side, because this is also running an older version of Clipper and Fluid. So I think the next thing we're going to do is update all of that. So I'm going to pull these out again, because first power on, I want a good view of any smoke. See that this opens just fine. This is a Duet 2 Wi-Fi with the DuX expansion. I had these left over from my Hypercube setup. I've got a bunch of dust to clean off. So we're going to go through the process to update Clipper on this. So let's get it plugged in. And see what happens. Are we ready? Power on first, or just plugged in, no smoke. And power it on. It looks like I did okay. Things are coming on. So who here has used Clipper on Duet hardware? Has anybody? It's one of these things I played around with last night to refresh my memory on the process to update the controller, the firmware on the controllers, because it's been quite some time since I updated. So, has anybody here used Clipper on a Duet? I'm starving that fan of air. I'm looking to see what is a good solution to space this whole thing up. There we go. There. Space the whole thing up on a titanium backers box. Okay. Nobody has run. Oh, I'm scrolled up in chat. Sorry, guys. I keep scrolling in chat and then it doesn't auto scroll. Let me report this bot. And are there any other bots? Okay. So let's go through the process. Pretty Boy FPV, for my setup, I've always put one fan on each side. So there's a fan here and a fan here. I set this one up to control, I control them separately. I have this one on all the time and it's the one closest to the Pi to give the Pi constant airflow. This one turns on as the controller fan, and it turns on when the steppers activate. So, and then I just assume that the turbulence of air in here is enough, and it ends up going or exiting wherever it can, because it's not like we have a sealed and controlled setup here, and the best airflow we have is when this bottom panel is on. Raker, any reason why you use the textured surface inside the electronics enclosure and not the smooth side? Yes, because I can see the texture through these holes, and it looks better in my opinion, because you can't see the smooth side, you can't see the bottom when the printer's in place, but you can see it through here if you look close. Okay. Let's go back here and let's go to the interface for the printer. And we are running fluid, and it's not updated yet. It hasn't been updated to whatever their latest version is. Show my time. Why not try one of those aluminum cases for the Pi? Because I have a heatsink on there and I haven't needed to. And those are just a little extra cost, and I have 12 printers with Raspberry Pis in them. And Scott, yeah, for the Weekend Warrior, that's what the backers are for. Airflow is better with the smooth side in, but is it? Is it better to create that boundary layer? And that would cause the airflow to actually be faster, because it's riding along that boundary layer. Kind of like a golf ball, right? It's dimpled for a reason. Okay, we are here. Let's look at, I think, system has that stuff. Settings. Where is our, here's all of our updates. Let's do a check for updates. It has been a good while. I'm still on Clipper version 0.9. Not too far. I don't know how often Moonraker's been updated. Clipper screen I updated fairly recently. Okay, that is there. So let's go through the things. Let's update fluid. Let it come up. And we've got lots of things to check. It's been a while, but let's go through all the processes. Let's go through update fluid, update Moonraker. Uh-oh. Losing my music. Switch ears. What are we at? Right at 3 hours. Yeah, it's the policy thing to get rid of the sudo login. Yeah, I've got lots of things to go through. I might need some help. And then let's update Clipper. Oh, we'll definitely be on a tangent here fixing all this stuff. We've done it before. We'll do it again. And I'll fumble through it. I'm amazed at the stuff that we fumbled through on these streams. Mr. Clown, the camera screen is open. I think that was the key. I've also been in contact with Elgato because I have that long-standing issue with I can't run 2 Camlink 4Ks. So right now the ZV-1 is using its native USB and the 6400 is on a Camlink. I'd like to run both of them on a Camlink. So they gave me some suggestions to try. I just got a hold of them yesterday though, and I didn't want to try it before this stream. So oh, am I going to have problems with this update? I see what you're saying. Yeah, let's, where is that? Charlie is so needy. Oh, and he clicked on my mouse too. Stepped on the mouse. Yeah, so where is that documentation? Moonraker documentation. Welcome to Moonraker. And there is, where was that? No, not that. Installation? Where do they say? Installing Moonraker. Where's the thing that says the fix it. Policy kit. Here, let's search here. Policy kit. Policy kit permissions. To resolve these warnings, users have two options. Install the policy kit permissions with the script. So let's do that. Yep, we're gonna SSH in and do that. The Weekend Warrior, on an important question, I'm having my 2.4 parts printed and the person asked what extruder I'll use. I bought an LGX Lite. The part reads CW1. Is that okay? I have no idea. I don't know what mods are out there for this LGX Lite right now. I own an LGX Lite. I haven't tried to install it on anything yet. So we're going to, we are going to SSH in. So let's start a command prompt. Bring this over here. SSH pi at v2 green local. Did Joe message me? I don't know. I usually end up with several messages in the middle of streams, but it's on the other computer and I don't see them. Let's see if I got that right. Okay. So we are logged in. So let's go back to here and we are going to run these commands. Charlie is so jealous of me not paying attention to him. Run this script. Does a Clockwork 1 mount work with Stealth Burner? Stealth Burner, the Stealth Burner being the fan housing and tool head combination. This being Stealth Burner will bolt to any Clockwork 1 setup. The changes come when you start changing the extruder to Clockwork 2 style. Okay. And it already did a restart Moonraker, even though it says here to, but we'll run this anyway. Let's restart the service. So will this resolve? Yeah, so no more. Oh no, we got a few. We still have some of that. Do we have to run this other things? If you still get warnings after installing the Polkit rules, run the install script with no options to make sure all the new dependencies are installed. So we're already there. So let's run this. So just following the directions. He wants attention. Look at that. So needy. Oh. Charlie's a parrot. Down. Still doing this. You guys are getting an extra cheat of Charlie time today. I don't have a choice there. Are there any dimensions for the stealth burner LEDs that won't work? There are so many options on... Yeah. I think they need to be... What is the diameter? The boards are what, 10 or 11 millimeters? And 1.2 millimeters thick or something? Wiley has spent a ton of time trying to make sure that the spots for the LEDs are as flexible as possible. If you want to ensure that they work, buy from the recommended sources. Show my time. Charlie had surgery about 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago. He had bladder stones. So he had surgery to have those removed. So that's why it's one reason why he's extra needy now, but also why he has that shave spot on his tail. Charlie's really not a cat. He's a dog. He's just a dog in a cat's body. He always has been. It's just, he's taken it up a notch since that surgery. That's okay. Oh, that finished. So let's restart the service and go back to here and see if we got rid of those errors. Good. So we got rid of the policy kit stuff. So I think this section, there's a difference. Where is it? Authorization. Here, let's see if there's a note on that. Is that what the error was? Unparsed config option enabled true detected in section authorization. So let's go to authorization. I think we just get rid of that. So let's go configuration, Moonraker, enabled true. We can just get rid of that. I'm just going to comment it for now. Hopefully we're back at a point now where this is good. So things are working, but I also want to bring the Duet firmware up to speed. So for that, now, oh, we didn't update Clipper actually because it failed, right? I forgot about that. We did not update Clipper. So let's do a quick check for updates. I don't know if that'll have changed for after we did the permissions thing. So let this do its thing. Okay. And now let's update Clipper. And this should work this time. I may have all kinds of configuration things we need to go through as well. But that's fine. See ya, TC. Thanks for being here. It's taking a bit. Finish. Might as well update the rest of these. So let's get clipper screen updated. Time for bed. See ya, John. Thanks for being here. We don't have too much longer to go here today. We're at the little over 3 hour mark now. I'm not going to put all the... I don't think I'm going to get to... Putting the panels on is not special for the R2 stuff. It was really covering the Z drive module, swapping those out, and swapping the gantry out. And a little bonus, because I needed to update all the software anyway, so we're in bonus time now. This green V2 has been one of my workhorses up until the fraying on the belt got bad. And even then I was still throwing stuff at it because I needed things printed. So I'm looking forward to having it back in the rotation of regular printing. It's taking a good while for the clipper screen update. If I can get away with it, I'm not going to go through the OS package updates. Because those I know will take a while, and I don't want to put you guys through just sitting here. Weave, yeah, 250 is my favorite size. I mean, it takes up less space on my bench of printers and heats up quicker. And I have very, very rare need for something that doesn't fit on this build surface. Extremely rare need. That thing's still updating, so. Wow. I'm caught up here. Behind. I'm gonna start a trend here, and he's gonna think he needs to bug me every stream. Oh, there we go. Finished. And then hopefully that one doesn't take very long. There we go. Finished. Okay. Everything but the OS packages. If I can avoid it, I'll do those later. What bed temp... so let's start back. Kosh, you're right. I would recommend, similar to Nero's recommendation, I would recommend anybody who doesn't know get a 300. I like the 250s. And I really like a V0 for the really quick stuff. Ovid, that's what bed temp are you using for ABS and how long does it take to heat up? I do 110. I usually wait until it hits temperature and then wait about 15 minutes after that before I start a print. HL trip, what do you print for private or business use? Hobby use only. So I print printers and upgrades and trying new parts. It's almost all printer printing. Okay, so this is done. So if we go back, we have, oh, I've got default parameter stuff, so I need to go through and fix that. So let's fix that. Oh, can we easily fix that? Let's ignore that for a second. I want to get the firmware updated. So Clipper is updated. Let's go to Clipper and make. We're going to update the controller. So we have, this is a duet. So you choose the duet. It is the duet Wi-Fi. So it's a SAM4E 8E. All these settings, the rest of it is defaults. Let's make clean. Now, I was messing around with this yesterday and did some updates at the version of Clipper it was on to test things. And I think this works. I don't think we need to do anything special on this for an update. If you go to, let's go to the Clipper docs. You go to Clipper and we're going to go to the installing portion and we're going to go to, if you follow this stuff and make flash directly to the serial ID, it works. If there's another part, device specific documentation, go to bootloaders. There's a section here on, if you scroll down, there's a section here on the SAM4 Duet Wi-Fi. And it tells you about, to enable the ROM, the erase pin is held high during a reset. Now on a Duet, there are these, do I have something non-metallic? There we go. There are these switches here. This switch here is erase or reset. It's erase. And this switch here is reset. If you hold down the erase button and then hit reset, it will wipe the board and put it into, it's a DFU mode or whatever. I was successful in flashing the firmware to this doing that, but I don't think it's necessary, at least once Clipper's on here. So if we go back here, now we have our configuration, our firmware configuration set. We can do the by ID. We can run that command to list the serial devices by ID, and we have this Clipper SAM4E80 device. If I had done the reset process, we would still get a device here. It would just be a different name. And if you do this other process to that name, it still works. Hopefully that made some sort of sense. Now Charlie wants to crawl up on my keyboard, and that's not okay. So let's go back here and go to the flash. So we're going to run through this process here. So we're going to stop the Clipper service. And now we're going to run the, where was I? We're going to run this command, make flash device. So this is going to make and flash it at the same time. So someone said we need to make, we don't yet. So we're going to make flash device, and then we're going to copy this device ID. Oops. And now run that, and it's going to compile the firmware and flash it to the device. Oh, someone said camera. I'm sorry about that. Charlie was getting sleepy. Apologize. We're caught up. And it's done. So we can start the service. Charlie does look sleepy. Look at this. He's gonna just fall asleep sitting there. And I think where can we system? There's somewhere that tells us what version the different things are running. Where was it that showed what version the controller? Isn't that in here somewhere? This is just the Pi information. Excuse me. Throat's getting dry. Settings, software updates. Well, this tells us Clipper, the host controller is running Clipper, the latest version of Clipper, but it doesn't tell us what is on the controller. And I thought, was it Mainsail that does that? I thought Fluid showed that as well. Oh, Clipper must be in a running state, and it's not because I've got these default parameters here. So let's go to configuration. Cleaner config. Is this where my default parameters are? This is all older stuff, so it's not over in the... It isn't connected because let's go where my... No results. Is it under Moonraker? No. Ah, here it is. Just to get this running, can I just uncomment all these? Or comment all these? Let's try this. Do we have a... So one change that has happened since I did this is the definition for the 3950s. It should be generic 3950 now, I think. So let's go to the heater bed and change that. We're just stepping through the errors. So heater bed. And I think this is just generic 3950 now, right? There we go. Now we're in an error-free state. The macros, I'll have to go find the example macros for pause and resume and stuff. Those can be fixed. But now if I go, where was it that I go to now that it's a working setup? Second system. So, but I don't see the, oh, MCU, there we are. The MCU is running 0.10. So just confirming that it got the update because it was running 0.9 before. So we're back to a working state. We have an updated software on this. Yeah, right here. This is the updated. So we are doing good. Where are we now? Let me go ahead and shut this down and let's switch back to this is what I like about Fluid. I like that it asks me to confirm a shutdown instead of just doing it. So let's close this up. What else? Is there anything else people would like to see before we wrap this up today? Because I think we've covered the important parts of an update to the R2. I don't know if it's worth going through reinstalling the panels on stream. Let's turn this off. Where am I at? There we go. So at this point, let's just see if there's any remaining questions and start winding down. This printer, well, let's power it on and just check to make sure, see what the latest, oh shoot. Just a tiny bit. Coffee on the power plug, but not enough to get anywhere. So let's power it up. Oh, something I didn't install yet. I forgot to reinstall the magnet for the Hall effect sensor. And if you remember last stream, I lost it. Remember last stream, I colored one end of it to note which side where it goes. So let's just push that in there like that. That was it. Thanks, Leo. I appreciate that. But I think we're at 3.5 hours now. So that's about where I want to be. Get the Euclid probe. Let's put it in its dock. We didn't change anything else. So while we're winding down, I can make sure the printer homes and all that kind of stuff. Is the GE5C mod there for flex instead of the gantry getting racked? It's just to allow a more theoretically controlled flexible joint in the corner. It has nothing to do with the gantry getting racked. Joel, Charlie is missing butt hair because he had surgery a couple of months ago. He had surgery like the Monday after Christmas. He had bladder stones removed. Charlie, you're right in the way of the screen. That's what people want to see. See if we can get him to move. Nope. Okay. So we are going to home all and see what happens. Yay. Yay. Yep, we're looking good. Charlie does know what you want to see. That's for sure. Let's go through a QGL, I guess. Not with you there. I'm glad I didn't hit the button. Gotta grab the Euclid probe. Hi, Nixcode. Thanks, Steve, for showing me the Hilbert pattern. Yeah, I really like the Hilbert pattern for the first layer, especially on like Stealth Burner and stuff. Any experience with DFH EPDM feet? Nope, not a bit. They are smaller and less squishy than the default guitar amplifier feet. Less squishy? Because these are not squishy at all. Now, are you thinking the compressor feet? Those are really squishy. Yeah, and I don't have all my speeds turned up on this stuff either. The panels with texture are ABS, yeah. I don't think I have any show that. I think you can see it on this one. This is going on this printer here. The guitar amplifier feet are pretty stiff as well. This thing's not heated up or anything, so it's, I don't know how many cycles it's going to take. This should be the last one. Whoa. Shit. What the hell happened? Wow. I have no idea what just happened. Huh. Everything's moving smooth. Put that back in there. Yeah, this isn't perfectly upright, just the way the opening, I can probably move that around a little bit, but I don't know what just happened. Yeah. Oh, maybe it is getting, is it getting bound up on that? I can't get to it. Oh, okay. So I've got a couple of things going on here. I've got a couple of things going on here. I'm not sure what is causing what. So let's start over. Let me shut this down. Just about to be done, and I just... Okay, so let's turn this off. Let's go through what I'm noticing. So when I changed this mount, it did move it that way. So I need to move this way because it did bind up there. Now I've got these extrusion slot covers in here, which are preventing me from moving it. So let's pull this out and move this where it needs to be, which is probably around there. So let's move this down and loosen this one. So we're gonna put that right about there, I think. Now, and its low point, now I'm gonna move this stop over close. That. Now I want to redo this, so I need to cut some off of here. So I can put this back in here. And then maybe I can put the other bit in this side. I'll just do a new piece for that later. I didn't disconnect any of the steppers. It was going fine. There was some movement it made that I don't know what happened, honestly. I need to look at the settings. Everything's plugged in. I mean, it wouldn't have gone through a successful QGL. It was whatever it does after the QGL. So let's get it powered back on and look at what it does after that. Everything's moving in full range. Everything's good. There's no binding. Nothing has changed. This is the configuration wise. Now, things have been updated. There might be something that I'm doing that's no longer compatible. So yeah, I've changed things. So let's just do a quick look. Let's look through. I haven't touched some of this in a while, so. Colin, this is a WaveShare 4.3 inch screen running Clipper screen. Let's go to the configuration. Let's look at the printer config first. So we have all this stuff. All low. So I am running the original 1 amp, 40 millimeter 1 amp steppers for X and Y. So a lot of this accelerations and stuffs are kind of lower than normal. QGL is quad gantry level. I am running rotation distance, so that's all correct. All the Z stuff should be working. I mean, it was homing and running through QGL. Did you put your safe home back on? You uncommented it earlier. I don't think I uncommented it. Or commented it out. The probe stuff, bed mesh. When Z moves in all the same command, it's when the QGL goes that they are individually driven. Right. I'm gonna let Charlie out. These are 1 amp steppers. So if you're Torx, if you're commenting on the 0.5 amp setting on them, they're 1 amp steppers. Heater bed. Let's go down here. Now all of this is overridden or is commented out. It was before. Nothing's changed here. QGL is commented out because all this happens in the Euclid macros. I don't think I need to do anything here. So let's close this and go to the, oh, which one am I using? Euclid test? Yeah, Euclid test, because I was testing things. So it does all this stuff. Let's go down to the quad gantry level stuff. So it runs quad gantry level, runs an M401. And these, keep in mind, these are old versions of the Euclid stuff. I haven't updated to the latest recommended. This might be an opportunity for me to do that. So M401, it did fine. It went and grabbed the, it's when it went to take it back is when it, I wonder if this movement here caused a problem. This speed. This is not what was out there. This is all playing around with Euclid stuff. So don't judge what's going on here. So Sean, what I did before where I said, let's just do this to get it running. That was just the, let's close this for a second. The client macros, it was right here. It's just the pause and cancel print stuff. No, it wasn't. Where was that? It was client config. Yeah, this. So same thing. It was the pause, resume, cancel print. It shouldn't have called any of these. So let's go to, I think what's happening, and someone said that we skipped step on something because it's, where was that? Euclid test. Let's move these down. Let's go like 8. 8. Let's bring all these speeds way, I mean, from where they were. 8 is still pretty. Let's save and restart. I think I just skipped steps, and I don't know why I didn't before, so I don't know what changed in the updates. Because I've been running this setup with prints up to, I mean, I did prints before I took it down for last week's stream. So I don't know what stopped it from being a problem before, but it definitely is a problem now. So let's go, let's home. I hit something there. Let's try this again. Yeah, I'm catching on that. I'm gonna make sure this connector doesn't catch on the back. Okay. And let's go do a QGL. Just let it run through a QGL. One way or another, we're gonna call it in 18 minutes max, everyone. I have other things I need to get to. But I want to just at least get some idea of what happened here. I'm not quite sure why it would have changed, but the stepper driver code changed in Clipper.10. It could be. At some point, I want to swap these steppers out because I have some 2 amp. They are 0.9 degree. I have some 2 amp 0.9 degree steppers, the ones that they were replaced with. But they haven't been a problem. I've kind of been waiting to see what the limits are in this setup. And I'm going to have my finger next to the emergency stop in case it does something funky again. So those are the early LDO 0.9 degree 1 amp 40 millimeter body steppers on there right now. I haven't swapped them out because they've been working and I've been wanting to see how well they work. But I do have some 2 amp version of the same thing that at some point I can swap them out for. Let's see. Okay, it's gonna go another round. I'm just puzzled, Torx, why obviously things changed. I'm curious what changed to cause this to not work now, where all of this worked before. And it could be what DJ was saying about DJ Natty was saying about the difference in the way they calculate. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and I've got things off, so something changed in the position for the docking the probe, so I need to fix that. But I'll save that for another time. Let's wind down. Any last questions anybody has? We'll call this a success. Speed was too high before. I'm gonna play around with currents to those steppers, and if I need to, I'll swap them out. So I'll do all that before I put the panels back on, because that's a whole lot easier without the panels on. But just a recap. So this is my green 250 build V2 that I've been saving to update to the R2 release parts until the release. So we swapped out the Z drive modules to accommodate the guitar amplifier feet, which meant we redid the belts. We used the old belts, swapped out the front idlers to the ones with the tensioning screw in line with the pulleys. And that's the main things. Swapped out the A drive module for the new Z cable chain mounts. So maybe it was just a one-off unlucky thing and all the other times were lucky. It's possible. See you, Veritastic. Have you noticed that the first probe when using clicky Euclid is almost always pretty off from the other values? That's also true with the inductive probe. How fast can you print? My normal profile is in the infill is 200 millimeters per second, travels 200 or 250. Perimeters I slow down to 60 or 80 external perimeters. Internal perimeters are I think 100 or 120. Is a Voron worth it? I think so. You're welcome, Ken. How am I adjusting belt's tension? For the Z's, I just did it by feel, and then make sure they all feel the same. What material is that for my deck panel? This is just ABS, 3mm ABS sheet. At least the stuff you get in the US here is all textured on one side, smooth on another. I don't have any super handy to show you. See ya, Andres. Do you have the LDO Speedy motors, aka the 48 2504? No, I don't. I tried using these monsters, which were the 60mm, but they were super loud in the Trident. Any reason why 0.9 steppers on AB? Any improvement in print quality? Any issues with the lower torque? Haven't had any issues with the lower torque, so I figure if I don't have torque issues, then, well, until today, then why not? Quick question, I keep getting probe errors, probe out of range. I have a PLN08. Is that a common issue, or should I get a new probe? Probe out of range. I'm not sure. You can open a ticket on the Discord. A lot of people are there ready to help. See you, Tin Nux. I'm sure Charlie's just waiting for me to sit down so he can sit on my lap. Thanks, Chris. When you look at ERCF, look at filament buffers at the same time. Yeah, that'll definitely be part of it, because I don't know exactly where I'm going to put it or how I'm going to manage the filament. So I guess with that, let's call it a day. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all who donated. Thanks everybody who's here. I think we're back to normal Sunday streams after the last couple of weeks of being disrupted. Yeah, we will see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.